Hey, what's going on? Coach Joe here. And what I wanted to do was just create something special for you, just to give you literally an all-in-one protein guide. So in this presentation, I'm going to go over some of the health benefits of protein. Obviously, our job at Heartletics is to help our members, live their best lives, get in shape, not just physically, right, but also mentally as well. So it all boils down hand in hand. Training, nutrition, which we're going to dive into this episode about, and then obviously the mindset as well. And so when it comes down to protein, there's so many different benefits, And I want to break everything down for you. Also go over some just, where to find some great protein sources at, some different tips and tricks to make it easier for yourself to consume, more protein. And then going over a nice little guide for you to kind of figure out, your protein goal when it comes to losing body fat, when it comes to, putting on lean muscle, everything like that. So with that being said, let's dive into nice little screen share here and just go over this presentation, which once again, we're going to be talking all things protein, all things. So first thing we need to talk about is some of the benefits. Right? There are a lot of benefits, especially with all the different amino acids inside of the protein molecule itself, which our body needs. But here's just a few of them, just in case you didn't know. So, obviously eating more protein is going to aid in putting on more lean muscle tissue, more muscle development. And just think about it like this, I don't want you to think eating more protein is going to get you big and bulky by any means. That's not the case, right? That has more so to do about just like, calories in and over consuming on calories. And then if, let's say you're taking steroids or something like that, yeah, you will get all big and bulky like a bodybuilder. But muscle development, I want you to really think about in terms of as you progress in age. Let's say, you hear it all the time. People fall down stairs and let's say they break their hips or, injure themselves, break a bone. And so it's like, what I want you to think about is just in terms of longevity for this. So having more protein and building more lean muscle tissue, that's going to help you out in terms of, hey, there's more extra cushion for you, right? In terms of, something that's beneficial rather than, let's just say, body fat, to where if you ever did fall, like that muscle, that's going to aid in so many areas, especially with just the older you get. But on top of that, metabolism as well. That is a huge thing. And so when it comes down to putting on muscle, and once again, somebody might hear, well, Joe, I know muscle weighs more than fat. I'm trying to lose weight here. But just understand this, the more muscle that you have, the greater chances of you're going to be speeding up your metabolism a lot faster. And I know in the very beginning stages of, let's say if you have a slow metabolism, like consuming protein is actually very hard for you to do. You're going to feel full, you're going to feel bloated, all these different things. So that's very, very common. But just keep this in mind. The more consistent you are within your protein goal, you will start feeling hungrier faster. And that's actually a telltale sign that your metabolism is speed up in the right direction. And then having all that muscle on your body, that's going to aid. So that way, once again, your metabolism isn't slowing down. Eating more protein also, controls sugar levels, which is great. It slows down the aging process, prevents hair damage, it makes your skin healthier as well. And think about it like this too. Once again, there are so many different amino acids that's inside of a protein molecule itself. Like your body needs it. Like it's essential. Your body needs those amino acids. And the fact that we can get it through wholesome foods like, meats, steaks, Greek yogurt, eggs, like plant-based proteins, all these different things, even supplements, right? It's great, right? It's great because this is what we need. This is, once again, longevity here. It helps with hormone balance, improved immunity, prevents heart-related diseases, and just helps you maintain an ideal weight. The standard American diet is typically, high in fats, high in carbs, and low in protein. And honestly, like if you just made the adjustment, made it like high in protein, moderate in carbs, low in fats, odds are you probably see a big difference in terms of your body composition and your weight. But that's a, story for another day. Let's go into protein itself. And just before we dive into different protein sources, we first need to understand once again, what is protein? And it's just one of the different macronutrients that's out there. And so there's carbs, there's proteins, there's fats. Obviously, there's other macronutrients as well, like, alcohol as well, for example. But, when you consume foods, if you ever look on the back of, let's just say you buy something at the grocery store, there's the nutritional facts label that's on the back and it has the calories at the top. Well, how they're getting those calories is based upon, the different macronutrients that's inside. So all these different grams, they all kind of add up. And in fact, right, just by looking at this chart, you can take a real good look and understand that, some of the different calories and grams ratios in here, how to just figure out, okay, if something has X amount of grams of protein and carbs and fats, it's going to equal to X amount of calories. But the main reason why I want you to understand this here particularly is the thermic effect of food is the greatest thing, in my opinion, when it comes down to nutrition, to just make it easy to understand, okay? When you're consuming more protein, you are going to be utilizing, right, more energy, which means that your body's taking more time to digest that protein with all the amino acids inside of it, which means that your body's working for you. So if we take a look from just lowest to highest in terms of just the macronutrients, the three of them, right? I'm not going to go into alcohol on this, but fats are the lowest. So that means like when you're consuming all the grams of fats, guess what? Your body is storing 97 of those calories based on 100 calories, right? 97% of those calories are being stored. That's it. They're not being utilized. Now, on the flip side, coming up a little bit, we have, carbs. I'm a big fan of carbohydrates. They aid in, obviously a healthy metabolism, well-balanced diets, but also testosterone levels as well and recovery. Carbohydrates are a great thing in my opinion. I know they get a lot of, hate and, shame in today's society, but carbs really do play a vital role into just optimizing someone's health, for longevity reasons. But let's just say we take the max, carbohydrates on the thermic effect of food, it's taken your body about 10% energy to consume, right? So that means 90%, okay, of the carbs that you're consuming, you're storing onto. 90% of those calories you're going to be storing on and holding on to, okay? Now on the flip side, and this is why I think protein is amazing, and just when people consume more protein, the likelihood they're going to be losing more body fat, but just based on this right here, the thermic effect of food, you can take a look that it's literally 25 to 30% for just how your body is breaking down, once again, the protein, consuming it all. Which means that if we're going to take the max 30%, that means if you're going to eat something, right, let's say a chicken breast, right, it's 100 calories. Well, guess what? Your body is only storing 70 of those calories because 30% is being utilized for energy. And that's what the thermic effect of food kind of teaches people. It's like, hey, understanding that, we can be very smart and mindful with the foods that we're consuming to where we can be utilizing them for fuel. We always like to say, food equals fuel at Heartletics. Now, scrolling down below, I want to go over just some different protein sources. So this one has just a different variety. You can see in here that, there's chicken breast, there's eggs, egg whites even, right? Cottage cheese, pork chops, Greek yogurt, lean beefs, salmon, chicken thighs and drumsticks, tuna, black beans, lentils, chickpeas, peas, pumpkin seeds, tofu, shrimp, bison, strip steak, from New York, and, ribeye. And all of them have, obviously different grams of protein. But this just kind of goes to show you, in terms of where you're going to get the most bang for your buck. So with chicken breast, you're getting 29 grams of protein in just one breast right there. What's not on this list provided is egg whites. I love egg whites. Egg whites is literally just 100% protein. Greek yogurt, plain Greek yogurt, that's very, very high in protein. So these are just, once again, great resources. And then this one is just for all plant-based because we understand that, hey, maybe some people are, vegans or vegetarians. They don't want to consume meats. And so this right here just kind of goes over, hey, there's tofu, there's edamame, there's, almonds, oats, pistachios, asparagus, broccoli, different things. Once again, avocado, chickpeas, cashews and kale. where you can use this as just a great resource and reference to ever, play back to say, okay, hey, I want to know more about, what are the types of foods that I should be consuming when it comes to protein. Now, these are all just whole foods. Once again, the meats that I mentioned over here, and then plant-based right here, these are all whole foods. Let's obviously talk about supplementation. I'm somebody that uses a lot of protein powder and I eat a lot of protein bars, right? Just my day-to-day with how busy I am, it's very hard for me to, meal prep and have everything kind of spaced out for me. It's just way more convenient to literally have a protein shake and have some protein bars. I'm able to easily hit my protein goals for the day, which I'm going to talk about here in a little bit on how you can figure out your goals for fat loss. But what I want to go over is that protein powders in itself, I'm not going to go over brands, right? That's not my job, but I do want to educate you. When it comes to consuming a protein powder, look for one that's roughly around 100 calories to 150 calories per one scoop. And for protein, it should be at least 20, right? If there's 25 grams of protein in there, awesome. If there's more, even better. But at least 20 grams of protein per one scoop. So once again, 100 to 150 calories per one scoop and at least 20 grams of protein. And when it comes down to having a protein bar, I would say 200 calories to 250 calories and then at least 20 grams of protein right there. So keep that in mind. There's so many different brands and different kind of, protein powders and protein bars that's out there. The last thing that you want to be doing is consuming a protein bar that has 500 calories and, 30 grams of protein. And it's just like, you might as well just have a small meal at that point. So it's just like, be mindful, right? Always be mindful. And a tip that I would want to, kind of go over with you is what we like to call the 2x2x2 method. And personally, this is a lot of, supplementation, but it's going to help you hit your goal if you're somebody that's struggling to hit your protein goal, So this is what I personally do on the days where I just kind of really need more protein. I need to focus on hitting these goals, or I just want to make it very simple and easy for me. And this is where the first two comes into play, where you're having 2 protein shakes a day, right? So go ahead and get a blender bottle, or it's like maybe you want to put your protein powder in your oatmeal or Greek yogurt, mix it up, or hey, who knows, put it even in your coffee, right? You got protein coffee, like that's awesome, right? Whatever you want, but basically have 2 protein shakes a day. And every time you're having a protein shake, right? So every time you open up the big bottle of protein powder, you're using 2 scoops of protein rather than just 1. So the first 2 is 2, shakes a day. And then the second 2 is 2 scoops. And then the last 2 is 2 protein bars. Now, once again, for sure, there's definitely a lot of supplementation in there, right? Not a lot of whole foods, but I personally have never had any issues by doing that. And I'm not saying I do it every single day, right? I'm just saying I use this as a tool to help me hit my protein goal. But also, if you think about it, if let's just say, right, 1 scoop of protein powder was 25 grams, okay? And that first 2 was, hey, you're having 2 shakes a day, okay? And every time you're having a shake, you're having 2 scoops. So 2 scoops, 1 scoop equals 25 grams. We're looking at 50 grams. 2 shakes a day, that's 100 grams total in protein. Now, if you're having 2 protein bars also, well, guess what? And let's just round and say they're 25 grams also, and you're having 2 of those. Now you're at 150 grams of protein a day. All right. And I'm not saying you need to do that by any means. I'm just saying it's a good strategy, and plus, if you're doing that and you're keeping within, the calories that I kind of mentioned when it comes to consuming and buying a protein powder and a protein bar, then guess what? You're going to be at 150 calories, probably 150 grams of protein, a low amount of calories, which means if you're ever going out to eat or anything like that, you're pretty much already at your protein goal, which means that you can have, like, let's say a nice dinner and maybe even a dessert or whatever. You have all these extra calories at play that's fitting into your budget. So just want to kind of go over that because I know that has helped out some of our members before by following the 2x2x2 method. And understand this too, once again, if you're somebody that has a slow metabolism, in the very beginning stages, it's probably hard to consume a lot of protein. So if you're getting that in through whole foods where it's harder to kind of digest, rather than just having a protein powder, this option for you is a great reference, is a great tool to kind of help out. Now, let's go over the different kind of protein goals for your body type. Now, obviously, as we progress and get into this more, I want you to understand that this is just going over protein, okay? Now, this isn't carbs, this isn't fats, but also it's not calories. So I don't want you to think that, hey, you can just follow through with this and instantly you're going to start losing some body fat. Sure, who knows? You might. That's obviously what we want. But keep in mind, too, that like calories play a big part. If you're somebody that is, I'll just use this example, 200 pounds, and you're having the bare minimum of protein, right, which is taking your body weight, multiply it by 0.8, that's going to give you 160 grams of protein. But let's say you're consuming 5,000 calories and you should be consuming maybe, 3,000 calories. Well, now you're in a 2,000 calorie plus surplus, which means it doesn't matter how much protein you're eating way too many calories in general for your body to lose body fat. So just keep that in mind, right? Nutrition, there's a lot of different variables and a lot of different factors. But regardless, your specific protein goal, follow this. This is what we've been using for years and it works pretty much for everybody, It's very simple. You're going to have your minimum grams of protein, what we recommend at Heartletics, and then your max. And to figure this out, you just take your body weight. So if you're looking for the minimum grams of protein that you should be consuming each and every day, take your body weight and multiply it by 0.8. So for this example, once again, if you weigh 200 pounds, right, you take 200, multiply it by 0.8, that's going to give you 160 grams of protein. Now, what we recommend at Heartletics is trying your best to consume at least 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you take 200, you multiply it by 1, and you're going to get 200 grams of protein that you should be consuming each and every day. And then the max, right? Because I would say that there definitely is a certain threshold. You don't want to consume just all protein. You want to have some carbs. You want to have some fats in there. You want to have some flexibility, right? That's what's making this a lifestyle change and not a just diet to follow, right? This is giving you the knowledge aspect is, hey, you take your body weight, you multiply it by 1.5, and that's going to give you the max. So if let's say you weigh 200 pounds, you would do 200 times 1.5. That's going to give you 300 grams of protein. Now, once again, that's the max. You don't need to really eat that much or go over that by any means. So I figured this would be just easier to just kind of share with you how you can hit your goals, but also as we're, playing through this whole entire, training for you, is understand that there's a lot of benefits to protein, And once again, in the very beginning stages, I'll mention this just one last time. If you're somebody that has a slow metabolism, it's very easy to feel full, stuffed, having a very hard time to hit your protein goal. But the more consistent you are in trying your best to do it, the easier it gets. Trust me. It's called metabolic adaptation. Per individual, it's different, but anywhere from 3 to about 6 weeks of consistency with, their nutrition, their training, different habits like that, they will start seeing a change of events in their metabolism, and it will start speeding up and boosting up and getting faster and more efficient again, okay? So lots to go over with this one. Hopefully this was easy to understand because obviously that's our job at Heartletics is just to, help provide this kind of content and pour this value out there for you to understand, but also consume and retain that information where, hey, it doesn't have to be hard at all, right? It could be as simple as this. And obviously, if you're mixing in the whole, aspect of everything, right? All the habits, the recovery, the mindset, the training, everything like that, then sure enough, you're doing all the right things and you're on the right track to having success on your health and fitness journey. So hopefully you guys got some value. Hopefully you guys got some information and this was helpful. And as always, I'll talk to you guys next time.